Good afternoon, guys. My name is Boitumelo Mukwena, and welcome to the STEM Digital School for Social Science, grade 6. Today, we are doing corrections for our history assessment, okay? For our informal assessment for history. So I believe you guys have your thing, your script with you, your answer sheet with you, so we can be able to answer the question, okay, and do the correction, so you can be able to see where you went wrong as well, okay? So yeah, okay, can you all see my screen? You can write on the group chat if you can see it properly. Let me zoom it. Oh, can you all see the screen? Okay, together says yes. All right. Cool, nice. Let's move. Okay, so this was our paper. This is how our paper looked like, okay? The difference is that this one has answers now. Yeah, this one has answers. So it was like this. It was written social science, history, informal assessment. So it was for grade 6 and the duration was 1 hour. And you guys took more than that to submit. So we wrote it on the 22nd of February. And then I'm the one who set the paper. I hope it wasn't that difficult because people didn't even submit. So it's very important that you guys must read the instruction carefully, okay? Because next time I'm going to say, don't answer all the questions and then you answer all the questions. So you see, reading instruction is very important, okay? So instruction number 1 says, this paper consists of 1 section and 5 pages. Okay, as you can see here, it's 1 of 5. So which means my paper has 5 pages. You need to check that before you answer, okay? You check that before you answer. And then read all the question, read all the instruction carefully, okay? Write neat, okay? And then use the pictures and diagram and sources to help you, okay, answer the question. So here you are supposed to write your name and the surname. Then that's all, okay? So I have the first source. I want somebody to read the source for me. Somebody who can read the source for me about how did Mapungwe developed as a powerful state, okay, and as a center for international trade. Okay, so I've got, okay, let me just get here. Kia.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to read source 1.
Okay, start on source 1, yeah?
Okay. Near the northern border of South Africa, bordering Zimbabwe and Botswana, the nearly intact, Zimbabwe and intact, dominant state from the early African civilization society were found. Mapungubwe developed in our own part of the world and maintained the power of for hundreds of years. It was an indigenous, clever community on a sandstone hill in the Limpopo Valley, and in the Middle Ages, it was flourishing. Successful trade with gold and other precious things to merchants, sellers from distant lands. Gold objects much that of the Zimbabwe ruins were found, while the several evacuations, diggings, stone walls, pottery, skeletons were produced, and of course beans. Thousands of different kinds of beads manufactured in places like India were found in almost every layer of settlement at Mapungubwe complex. The economies were based on large herds of cattle, but the people became involved in trade with the outside world, and they trade exotic, unusual things.
Nice one. Thank you, Kia. Thank you, Kia.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, let's get just two people to read for us. Mohale.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, read.
Near the northern border of South Africa, bordering Zimbabwe, Botswana, and nearly insect under damaged. Remains of Makungubwe, a great powerful dominate state from the early African civilization society were found. Makungubwe developed in our own part of the world and maintained that power for hundreds of years. It was an clever community of a sandstone hill in the Limpopo Valley and in the Middle Ages. It was flourishing successfully trade with gold and other things to manufacture sailors from distant lands. Gold objects, much like that of the Zimbabwe rains, were found while from several executions, digging, stone walls, pottery, and skeletons were produced, and of course beads. Thousands of different beads manufactured in places like India were found in almost every layer of the settlement of Makungubwe complex. The economies were based on large herds of cattle, but the people became involved in trade with the outside world, and they traded exceptionally usually and produced goods.
Nice. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So this source explains the development, discoveries, and trade in Mapungubwe. Okay.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
explains the development, the discoveries, the things that were found, and the trade that was happening in Mapungubwe. Okay, so let's go to the questions. Let's go to the question. Okay. Study source 1A and answer the question below. We have already studied the source. We've already studied the source. Okay, 1.1.1. What evidence can be found in source 1A which supports the fact that Mapungubwe was a great, powerful state from the early civilization? What evidence can be found in source 1A which support the fact that Mapungubwe was a great, powerful state from the early civilization. Okay, my answer says, okay, fine. Tell me your answers, guys, first. Jay? Jay? Okay, Lloyd?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
So, ma'am, number 1.1's answer for me is all that remained of Mapungubwe, like beads, gold, and much more.
Come again?
Ma'am, the evidence that can be found in source 1A that supports the fact that Mapungubwe was a great and powerful state from the early civilizations was all that remained of Mapungubwe, like beads, gold, and so much more.
Thank you, Lloyd. That's correct. Pure.
So I think that the evidence that can be found that supports the fact about Mapungubwe that was great powerful state from the early civilizations is that it also maintained the power for hundreds of years.
Come again?
So I think that the evidence that can be found in source 1A is that it maintained the power for hundreds of years.
Thank you very much, Pure. I submit your work. I only mark one paper. But yeah. Okay, so your answers are relevant and they were correct. Okay, so the evidence that can be found in source 1A, which supports the fact that Mapungubwe was a great, powerful state from the early civilization. Okay, the answer is that, the exact answer is that the nearly intact remains of Mapungubwe provided the evidence that it was a powerful state, okay, from the early civilization. Okay, let's move to number 2. Use source 1A to identify the main economic activity. Provide evidence from the source. So identify the main economic activity. What were the main economic activity at Mapungubwe? Lloyd?
So, the main economic activity was trade, seeing all the valuables that remained in Mapungubwe, like the beads, the gold, the ivory, and the stone walls that surround the place, because it shows that they had enough money to get they had enough resources to get the iron pickaxes so that they could mine the stone and build up the stone walls.
Nice. That's correct. Mark yourself. Give yourself a mark.
Thank
you.
Ma'am, my answer was they provide evidence from the source. My answer was it was an ingenious community on a sandstone hill in the valley and in the Middle Ages.
Nice. Thank you very much. Okay. Identify the main economic activity. Okay, they trade with gold and other precious things. Okay, they were trading gold and other special things. All right, so you can mark yourself correct. So let's move to number 2. According to source 1, what other economic activity were they involved in? What were the other economic activity that they were involved in? Hiwa?
Ma'am, my answer was trade with the outside world and them the exotic and precious goods.
They did what?
So my answer was trading with the outside world and with also trading with the outside world, exotic and precious goods.
Trading with the outside world and?
So trading with the outside world, that's all.
Okay, I think your answer falls to number 2. Falls to number 2. Pure, Mutori.
So, ma'am, other economic activities included herding cattle.
Included herding cattle. Yes, that's all. That's all
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
Okay, you can give yourself a mark there. You can give yourself a mark. Okay, on the group chat, what are you guys saying? Okay. Okay, Kia says poetry. Kia says poetry. That's true. Okay, so according to source 1A, when we read at source 1A, what other economic activity were they involved in? They were involved in poetry, okay, and beards, okay, and then the sale of heads of cattle, okay. So these were the other activities that they were involved in. And then number 4, how do we know they were successful in selling their product? Provide evidence from the source. You read what you have written. How do we know they were successful in selling their product? Provide evidence from the source. Pure.
Ma'am, my answer was by researching about what they've done, by reading about them and watching videos about them, like so you can see all the products they've traded for with other countries outside the world, and yeah, and also watching videos on YouTube or somewhere else about them.
Come again?
So my answer is by reading about them and watching videos about them and going online and researching about them.
And online and researching about them.
Yes,
So according to the source, what did you find?
sir?
When looking at the source, what did you find? That the things that they were selling were successful.
So I can't really remember, but I'll check again.
Please do that, okay?
Yes, sir.
Lloyd.
So, ma'am, my answer is they had a lot of valuables at Mapungubwe that are still being found today. Gold objects were found in several excavations as well as stone walls, pottery, and beads.
Read again.
They had a lot of valuables at Mapungubwe that are still being found today. Gold objects were found in several excavations, and the stone walls that surround Mapungubwe prove that they had enough to make them, and as well as the pottery and beads that they had.
Okay, nice one, nice one. That's correct. Thank you very much. Let me check on the group chat. Okay, nobody. Pure.
So was it fine when I said by reading about them and watching videos about them?
No, you were supposed to extract from the source on what they have written.
Okay, sir.
Yes, you were supposed to extract from the source. Okay. Cool. Nice. So okay, number 4, how do we know they were successful in selling their product? Okay, provide evidence from the source. So which means we will go to the source, okay, and read, and then we extract evidence that shows that their product were successful. Okay, so myself, this is what I've extracted from the source. Okay, please switch off your videos. Nice. Okay, so the following statement quotes from the passage proves that they were successful in selling their product. Okay, so here I have quoted, let me highlight it to you so you can be able to see. Okay, this is what I have quoted from the source. Okay, so to see that they were successful in selling their product is that it was flourishing. Okay, it was flourishing or successful trade. It was a flourishing or a successful trade. Gold and ivory were sold overseas. Okay, were sold to overseas traders. So this means that their product were successful, and a great powerful state from the early civilization, okay, were found. Okay, and then also I also quoted that, let me highlight, okay, that thousands of different kinds of beards manufactured in places like India, okay, were found in almost every layer of the settlement. Okay, they were found in almost every layer of the settlement. Okay, these statements show that the beards from India were found. Okay, so this is what I quoted. Okay, this is what I quoted from the source. All right, from the source. Okay, I saw a hand from Adelaide. Adelaide. Okay, Adelaide is gone. All right. Let's move. Who can read source number 2? 2 people to read source 1B. Okay, I want different people now. I'm gonna start with Pure.
Trading posts were set by the Arabs. The ruler was a clever man. He gained control of the gold and ivory trade. People brought gold and ivory down the Shashe River to Mapungubwe. Local traders took the gold and ivory further down and sold them to foreign traders whose ships landed at Inhambane on the coast. The village became very rich and life for the inhabitants of the town began to change. The town became a very well organized society. There was a ruler and smaller chiefs in the kingdom. The smaller chiefs would hunt and mine gold. The ruler would be given these as a tribute. He would reward his small chiefs with imported luxury goods that they wanted. The rulers' homes were surrounded by stone walls at the top of the hill. The small chiefs and people of the kingdom lived further down the hill. The more powerful you were, the higher the mountain you lived.
Nice, nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Pua. Let's get Kamahelo.
Thank you, ma'am. Trading posts were set up by the Arabs. The ruler or king was a clever man. He gained control of the gold and ivory trade. People brought gold and ivory down Shashi River to Mapungu. Local traders took the gold and ivory further down and sold them to foreign traders who's on the coast. The village became very rich and life for the inhabitant people of the town began to change. The town became a very well organized society. There was a ruler and smaller chiefs in the kingdom. The smaller chiefs would hunt and mine gold. The ruler would be given these as a tribute. He would reward his small chiefs with important luxury goods that they wanted. The rulers' homes were surrounded by stone walls at the top of the hill. The small chiefs and people of the kingdom lived further down the hill. The more powerful you were, the higher the mountain you lived.
The more powerful you were, the higher the mountain you lived. Okay, nice. So this source, this extract explain how the town of Mapungube has been ruled. Okay, it explain how the town of Mapungube has been ruled and how the people were living. Okay, according to their status. So you read what you wrote. You don't read on my screen. What evidence is the source? What evidence in the source explain that the rulers were rich and powerful? What evidence in the source explain that the rulers were rich and very powerful? Okay, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. What evidence supports is that the rulers were rich and powerful was that they controlled the gold and ivory trade.
They control the golden and ivory trade. That's correct. Jay?
So,
Yes.
ma'am, can we see the next extract? Can I read the next one?
Okay, cool. You are going to read the next one. I'm going to. Okay, you are going to read the next one. Cool. Okay, Lloyd. Mute yourself, Jay.
So, ma'am, the evidence that the source explains that the rulers were rich and powerful, their homes were surrounded by stone walls, and the social hierarchy was based on the mountain. The richer the were, the higher you were.
Yes, yes, yes. That's also correct. Give yourself a tick.
Thank you, ma'am.
Pure.
So my answer was people brought gold and ivory down the Shashe River to Mapungubwe.
They did what?
People brought gold and ivory down the Shasha River to Mapungubwe.
People brought the ivory down to the what?
The Shasha River to,
The Shasha River to Mapungubwe.
yes, ma'am.
Wait, before I want to correct you somewhere. Okay, what evidence in the source explain that the rulers were rich? Okay, and then, okay, number one, the rulers or king gained control over the ivory trade and gold. So they were the one in charge. Okay, they were the one in control of the ivory trade and gold. So when you're trading something, which means you're getting something as well, okay. And then when you involve, it means you become rich and more powerful as well, okay. The smaller chief would hunt and mine gold, okay. The ruler or king would be given these as tribute and praise, okay. So he would reward his small chief with imported luxury goods that they wanted. So Pure, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Your answer?
People brought gold and ivory down the Shasha River to Mapungubwe.
Yes, people brought gold and ivory to the Shasha River. Okay, so they were giving them to the kings. Okay, so they were giving them to, so the king had control over those gold and ivory coast. Yes, your answer is relevant. That's correct. Cool. I was still trying to figure it out. Okay, so number B2. Number 2. What evidence is there that the lives of people changed due to international trade? Okay, the evidence that is there that the life of people changed due to international trade. Trade. Lloyd?
So, ma'am,
Yeah.
when people started trading, it was because of the fact that they needed each other's things. So when they got the things they needed, their lives changed and were made easier. And Mapungubwe became more organized of a society.
Nice one. Thank you, Lloyd. Mark yourself correct.
Thank you.
Okay, Pure.
My answer was local traders took the gold and ivory down and sold it to foreign traders.
Come again.
Local traders took the gold and ivory down and sold it to foreign traders.
Yes, cool, nice. Make yourself right. So it's only Pure. Guys, you didn't write my work. Come on, let's all participate. It cannot be 2 people. It cannot be 2 people. It can be, okay? It can be. Yes, Kia?
Ma'am, I wanted to say the reason why I can't answer is that I don't have my paper with me because I don't have a print. Ma'am?
Okay. Cool, no problem. And what about the rest of you guys? Let's all participate. We all wrote this test, right? So let's not depend on 2 people. Let's not depend on 2 people. Okay, so what evidence is there? What evidence is there that the lives of people changed due to international trade? Okay, what I wrote is that the village became very rich and their lives of people changed, okay? Reason being, the villages became very rich, and the life for the inhabitants, I've quoted this, the inhabitants, the people of the town became to change, okay? The town became a very well-organized society. So this has been quoted from the source, okay? It has been quoted from the source. So all the answers that we are seeing here, they are from this source, okay? You don't have to think too much. You just have to use your mind, okay, in order to answer them, okay? Cool, let's move. So if you wrote something like this, you can mark yourself right. Okay, you give yourself 4 marks. Cool. Explain how the town was ruled according to source 1B. How was the town ruled according to source 1B? Cool. Kamuhelo.
Ma'am, according to source B, the king had small chiefs that he would reward with luxury exports.
Yeah,
So there were Hula was the king and there were small chiefs.
nice one. That's correct. That's correct. Let's go to Lloyd.
So, ma'am, my answer is the king was a clever and powerful man. He gained control of the gold and ivory trade. The village became rich for the people of Mapungubwe.
Correct, correct. Make yourself right.
Thank
Cool. Pure. Pure.
Ma'am, my answer was it was ruled by the king who was a clever man and he gained control of gold and ivory.
Okay, yes, yes. Cool, that's correct. Mark yourself right. Okay, cool. Here's my answer for those who didn't write. Explain how the town was ruled according to 1P, okay? According to 1P, so I read 1P, so it's 1P. And then my answer was, there was a ruler and a smaller chief in the kingdom, okay? So there was a ruler and smaller chief in the kingdom. The smaller chief would hunt and mine gold, okay? The ruler will be given those as tribute, okay? And then he would reward his small chief with imported luxury goods that they wanted, okay? He will reward his small chief with imported luxury goods that they wanted. Okay, Kia?
Ma'am, I wanted to answer 1.2.4.
Oh, okay. Wait, let me read the question loud. Okay, 1.2.4. How were the social classes organized in Mapungubwe? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. The ruler's home was on top of the hill, surrounded by a stone wall, and then the smaller chiefs lived in the middle of the hill, and then at the bottom lived ordinary people. And the reason why the king lived on top of the hill was they said he could to the ancestors and he could make rain.
Yes, he could make rain and talk to the ancestors. That was the reason. And he separated himself from the people. Okay, nice.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. P, wa.
Ma'am, my answer was the king was at the top, and the king was at the top of the hill, and all the other people lived at the bottom of the hill.
Yes, the king was at the top of the hill and other people lived at the bottom of the hill. Cool, nice. Lloyd.
So, ma'am, the social classes were organized like so. Since Mapungubu's social hierarchy was revolved around the hill, the rulers lived on top of the hill. The other regals and relatives lived on the slopes of the hill, and the ordinary people lived on the bottom of the hill.
That's fantastic. Give yourself 4 marks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, yes. The ruler's home were surrounded by stone. It's another answer, a different one from your guys. The ruler's home was surrounded by the stone walls at the top of the hill, okay? The small chief and people lived further down the hill, okay? They lived further down the hill, but all your answers are relevant and they are correct. Nice. Who said, somebody said, I want to read SOS 1C. It's not Kia. Who? Raise your hand. Okay, the person is gone. Okay, Kia, you can read.
Yes, ma'am, it was JD, and I think he's gone now, ma'am.
Yeah, he's gone. You can take over and tell us what you're seeing on the picture.
Yes, ma'am, the thing that I see on the picture is the golden rhino that was made by the people to show how much they loved their king.
Yes, it was the golden rhino. Yes, 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 yes. And then read on top.
Okay, the picture of the golden rhino is an artifact found at a grave in Mapungubwe.
So this was an artifact found at the grave in Mapungubwe. Okay, thank you very much, Kia.
Thank you.
Cool, we are out of time. Let's just quickly answer these 2 questions. Study source 1C and answer the following question. Why do you think the discoveries of artifacts in Mapungubwe attracted so many people? Lloyd.
Ma'am, they were valuable and they were beautiful and they were historically important.
Yes, yes, nice, nice, nice. Mark yourself correct.
Thank you, ma'am.
Pure.
Ma'am, my answer was it was so important, and because a lot of people were very interested and wanted to learn more about the golden rhinoceros.
Nice, nice. Mark yourself correct. Kia. Yeah, boy.
Thank you, ma'am. The reason why the discoveries of artifacts in Mapungubwe attracted so many people is because they were sacred and they were beautiful, very valuable, and they were historically sacred.
Nice, nice, nice. Correct. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. My answer was that the past, and we could learn more from those artifacts, and also because they were beautiful and very valuable. And also there was one quote I wrote that the things we can learn from the past helps us understand the future.
The things we can learn from the past, they help us to understand the future. Give yourself 3 marks. Okay, my answer says discoveries were found. The discoveries were evidence that the early inhabitants of Mapungubwe were involved in trading, okay, with overseas countries. Their economic activity were also successful, okay, and some were fortune hunters, etc. So all the answers that you guys gave were correct. Okay, what does the photo tell us about the people who have made the golden rhino? What does the photograph tell us about the people who have made the golden rhino? Lloyd?
Ma'am, it tells us that they were rich, powerful, and talented.
Rich, powerful, talented. Nice. Pure?
Ma'am, it tells us that people were very good at art and using gold.
Yes, they were good at art and using gold. Nice. Okay, so it can also tell us that there were plenty of gold, okay? And then people also loved animals, okay? The rhino horn is valuable, okay? And then the rhino was seen as a symbol of leadership, okay? And then the other relevant answers that you guys have given. So, okay, the last question, let's just steal 2 minutes of the time. Use the evidence information from source 1A, source 1B, source 1C, and your own knowledge to write a paragraph of 8 to 10 full sentences on your own words, okay? On your own words, on the development of Mapungubwe as a powerful state, okay? And a center of international trade. So, Lloyd?
So, ma'am, my answer is Mapungubwe's wealthy classes first revolved around cattle. When trade was introduced, it started revolving around it. The king decided to move important people on Mapungubwe Hill. When trade was introduced, social hierarchy changed. They had more goods, meaning more luxury. They had more than enough goods, so they decided to trade them for things they needed. They traded so much until it became an economy. They mined for gold and did many other things to get valuables, then traded those.
Thank you very much. Thank you. How many marks did you get for that?
Ma'am, these are 10 marks.
You didn't submit, right?
No, ma'am, I did submit my test.
Did you get the results?
No, ma'am, not yet.
You should go check.
They are probably with my mother, ma'am.
Okay, cool. Pure?
So Mapungubwe developed in our own part of the world and maintained that power for hundreds of years. Trading posts were set up by the Arabs. The ruler was a clever man and he gained control of the gold and ivory trade. The village became very rich and life for the inhabitants of the town began to change. The king began to change. The king would reward his small chiefs with important luxury goods that they wanted. The economies were based on large herds of cattle.
Thank you, Pure. Thank you, Pure. Okay, guys. So, in order for you to get the 10 mark, you supposed to follow these aspects. Okay, so I've given you the answers. I made a mistake to send the answers with the question during a test. So, you write about the development into a rich, powerful state. Okay, you tell us more about that. And then the geographical division of the political ruling. Okay, you tell us about that as well. And then the change from cattle-based to trade-based economy. Okay, and then if you include that as well, you also get yourself mark. and then you write about the Center for Local and Global Trade, okay, and their economic activities as well. Then you get yourself 10 marks. Okay, so Kia, you are the last participant. What do you want to say?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, what is the whole test out of?
30.
Oh, the test is, ma'am, the test is out of 30.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much. I wanted to say thank you for being a nice teacher. May God bless you. Enjoy your day. Oh, the test is, ma'am, the test is out of 30.
Enjoy your day too, guys. Have a lovely, have a good night's sleep when you sleep. I love you all. Bye.